Hello friends, are you ready for some Christmas crafts? Easy, quick, simple, budget friendly. Okay, I'll stop. Let's get started. We're going to get started with this little hanging house piece that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I've had it in my stash for a minute, and these adorable little star cutouts that I ordered from Shein, however you want to say it. And they were very inexpensive. They came in a lot of different sizes in one package. They were very inexpensive. Now I'm going to arrange them in the shape of a tree on this house. I'm going to take some aviary paint by DIY. I'm going to take this little sponge paint brush, which I cut the tip off of so that I could use as a dauber. And I'm just going to splash a little paint on each one of these. You're going to see me struggle a little bit at first until I got the hang of things with these tweezers. And I think in the end, I probably just ended up using my fingers as they got bigger. But these small ones, there we go again. I did finally get the hang of it. And I did continue using the tweezers. I did finally get the hang of it and get myself in a little rhythm. And I didn't care if these were really completely coated, but they were coated pretty well. And so I got them all done, got them all in order. And then I'm going to take some Titebond Quick and Thick. Surprise, surprise. And I'm going to just squirt a little bit out on my paper, use a paintbrush to put some glue on there so I have a little bit more control. I'm going to put my top piece where I want it so I can center it right there. And then I'm going to go on the bottom and start lining these stars up and just putting a little glue on the back of them and placing them where I want them to go. This is really super easy. It was really not that time consuming. I just had a YouTube video playing in the background and enjoyed the process. Now, my friend Leanne over at Simply Enjoying Crafting, and I did a collab back in the summer of Christmas in July, and we craft each other's stash, and she sent me these little embellishments, and so I'm using them in my Christmas DIYs now. Grab yourself some clean, empty toilet paper rolls because we're going to make an adorable little craft. So you're just going to smash it down. You're going to draw yourself a little Christmas tree. I drew one, cut it out, and then I traced it off so I could make the other side the exact same way. And I'm just showing you how I drew them on there and then cut it out with my scissors. And then we're just going to cut on those lines. You can make them as skinny, as wide, as fat. Now, the best thing to do is, I made several of these, is to not cut those tips too close. Leave it a little wide so that it stays connected. You'll see in the end what I'm talking about. I ended up making this one where they weren't connected, and it works out okay, but they just work better if you leave them connected. So at the points of the tips is what I'm talking about. See where that is? I should not have cut all the way in there, just left that. You'll see when you see the other ones that I do. I only do one of these on camera because it's just repetitive and the same thing. But when I draw that out, when I cut this, okay, I'm going to cut in, and when I cut out right there, okay, when I go back in, I should have left a little more space so it stayed connected on the tips. I'm going back in with this Avery. It's been my favorite DIY paint for Christmas. I'm going to put one coat on here on both sides. I'm going to dry it up with my heat gun, and I'm doing both sides of this. I'm going to take Vintage Linen by DIY. I get my DIY paints from Sammy, www.unicorndustdesigns.com. She has all your IOD products, DIY products, a lot of awesome thrift finds. So go over there and check her channel out. Her website. You can check out her channel too if you don't know her. Okay, so this is what it looked like. And you can see I'm snipping those tips right there. See how I snipped those? Because some of them were connected, some of them were not. I suggest that you leave them all connected. The white ones I left connected and they stand up a little bit better. But this is what they look like finished out. I told you they were easy. I told you they were budget friendly. You let me know in the comments below if I told the truth. Hello, my name is Kendra. You are watching Late Night Creations. That name came about because I craft mostly late at night. I started that when my kids were little and I had to craft after they went to bed. So it stuck. Please make sure that you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed. And let's get back to crafting. I picked up this little package of ornaments at Hobby Lobby when they were half price. Wow, what a buy. There's 4 of them in a package and they are really nice. So yeah, these didn't work so great. So I ended up getting out my miter shears to cut these. So I want to have 3 different lengths. I want them to get smaller as they go up because you got it. We're going to make a Christmas tree. Now, this is probably one of the easiest, most simple DIYs you can make, and it turns out so cute. So you just want to glue them down on your ornament, or you could do it on a piece of scrap wood. You could do it on basically anything. You could have your kids do this on with paper on a, make a Christmas card, anything. So here we go. We're going to just glue them all down. I'm trying to kind of fluff it up. Be careful on the hot glue because it will melt these little branches. I put mine a little closer together than I wanted, but anyway, now I'm going to put a star on top. These are my varieties of stars I've collected from Amazon and Shein and Dollar Tree and a lot of different places. And I'm trying to decide exactly what I want to do with these stars. So I end up deciding on this one, and I'm going to try to find just the right size that I want. And that's the size. And I'm going to take my Queen Bee paint by DIY. I'm going to daub a little bit of that Queen Bee on there because it's a great color for a gold star. Then with the paint that's left over in there, I'm just going to daub a little bit around the edges of this ornament. I thought that would look cute, and it does. You could flock that greenery on there if you wanted to. I'm going to use a little Aleene's tacky glue. And I'm going to, or Aleene's, it's probably Aleene's because there's only one L. And then I'm going to take a few of these little pit berries off the vine, and I'm going to use my little handy dandy tweezers so I don't burn my fingers, and I'm going to hot glue them randomly in the tree. We can pretend they're ornaments, or we can just pretend they're berries on the tree. It's our world. We can pretend however we want. So here we go. How easy was that? We are still using our Aviary green paint by DIY. We're going to put a little in this dish. We're going to add a bunch of water. We're going to water it down. We're going to soak some of the canvas drop cloth that I love so much. I just cut a strip of it, and we are going to run it through here and soak it up. I just wanted to give this a little bit of color, and I didn't have any fabric dye or anything like that, so I thought, why can't we just paint it? So instead of painting it, I thought, well, with just some watered down paint, we could just soak that paint up in there, and let's see how this turns out. So I have some parchment paper. You could use wax paper. You could use an old trash bag, whatever. And I'm just putting it over there. It's really wet. I took it outside, laid it outside, and let it dry outside in the air. And this turns out beautiful. Now I'm going to just snip it on this end, and then I'm just going to rip strips. Just rip it. Just take out your frustrations and just rip you some strips. And there you go. Rip it. Rip it, rip it, rip it. And then I'm going to cut it in smaller little sections. We're going to make a Christmas tree. Imagine that. Another Christmas tree. I'm going to make them all about the same size. They don't have to be perfect, but we'll make them all about the same size. Then I got these, I think I got these cones, styrofoam cones, in a 4-pack at Hobby Lobby. I'm not quite sure, but you can find styrofoam cones just about anywhere this time of year. I'm going to paint it with, can you guess what color this is? Yep, Aviary by DIY. And you have to be careful using your heat gun on the styrofoam because it will melt it. So I got that coated with I did 2 coats of paint on there. And I'm going to take these strips, and the first one I do on each row, I'm going to tape it together to make a loop, and then tape the loop to the tree, just like you see me doing right there. And make sure the bottom of the loop is at the bottom of the tree. And then I'm going to just keep going all the way around the tree until I have a whole layer of them all the way around the bottom. The next one, I'm going to put the glue actually on the styrofoam. Lay it down there. Now I want the bottoms all to match up. The tops do not have to match up. So wherever I have to put that glue to make the bottoms match up is what's important. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher. But what matters is that the bottom loops match up, because you're going to have loops that come down over those tops on the next row. I'm going to dance with those strings a little bit. And you just keep going around and around and around the Christmas tree, just like this. And all those strings and the ragged edges are what makes this look rustic. And we like that. Okay, next we're going to kind of bricklay it. So we want our next one to go in between 2 of them. And again, we're going to make our little loop so we know exactly where it's going to lay. So same as we did the first one, and we want it to be in between those and to lay over about halfway through, down. See, that's not the right way to do it. We want it to go right there and to lay about halfway down. I'm not sure why I thought there was a front or a back to that, but apparently there was. Okay, right there. And then we're going to do the same thing we did on the bottom row. Just keep going all around until we get all the way around. That was intelligent talking right there. All the way around till we get all the way around. And we're going to do that all the way to the top. Not sure what I'm trying to tell you there, but I was trying to say something. So keep them close together so that you don't have gaps. And then here we are all the way to the top. Now we're at the very top and almost finished. And we are going to put a little star up there on the top because, you know, well, all the trees need a topper. You could put anything you wanted on the top. I just happened to have all those little stars, and that's kind of seems to be the theme of this video, is to have a tree with a star on the top. So we're gonna keep that. I'm gonna melt a little indentation in the top of this with the tip of this hot glue, and then I'm gonna put a little dab of hot glue in that indentation. I'm gonna make sure my star looks right first. Okay, it does. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue in that indentation and then sit it down in there and hold it until that glue dries a little bit. It looks cute. Okay, the pitberry vine, you could leave this off if you don't like it. You can add it. You could add some little fairy lights, whatever. I just think this keeps it looking rustic, and all I had to do was really hot glue where it started, because this I kind of just, you know, I wound it around there and then just tucked it. I may have been able to tuck that some way, but I just put a little hot glue in between one of those little loops and tucked it in there, and I think this turned out adorable. Okay, I cut a triangle to resemble the shape of a Christmas tree out of just a piece of scrap cardboard as a template. And then I have these beautiful scrapbook papers that were gifted to me. Actually, I think I won them in some kind of scrapbook raffle basket years ago. And finally found the perfect project to use them in. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to use, and they're double-sided. This project is best if you use double-sided paper. Would you look at how beautiful those are? Okay, so these are the ones that I chose because I like them. I don't really know why I chose them. That's the ones I chose. So I'm going to trace this shape out onto the paper and cut it out. Easy peasy. I'm going to do that on each one of those pieces of scrapbook paper. Then I'm going to take some little skewers that are those little bamboo ones from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take the DIY dark wax and just stain them up a little bit. Now, I'm going to take those little triangles and we're going to accordion fold them. I have my little Cricut scraper. You could use a popsicle stick. You can use anything to crease it to make them nice and crisp. Your little folds nice and crisp. You want them all to be the same width. So just take your time carefully. I struggle with this sometimes, getting them even and straight, but I've sped this up, but I took my time and just really watched and made sure that I got them all even. Now I did one of them a little bit bigger. I think this was the first one I did was a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile. This thing is great. You can punch holes. You can do, I don't even know what all you can do with it, quite honestly. I use it for hole punch. And then, yeah, I'm going to flip and flop everything around. Then I'm going to put that skewer through those holes. I was inspired by this by a picture I saw somewhere. It was on a blog I was reading, and she was doing some Christmas decorating, and she had these in a vignette, and they were so cute. So I'm going to use some Marquee by DIY and paint this little bead. And then I'm going to wipe off some of the paint because this is rustic, so I don't want it to look completely painted. You know, it's got to look a little rustic. I'm going to glue that bead to the top, and then we're going to move on to our other ones. I already folded them and got the little sticks in, and then I'm going to put a little star. I thought it would be cute, though, to put one on each side so they can be two-sided. So I'm going to glue the two little stars together, and that pointy end of the little stick is right at the bottom of that star. Okay, now if you had a longer, bigger one, you could use these little stump-looking things from Dollar Tree, and that would probably be okay with this one, but I have that piece of a spindle that I cut off and these little pieces of a tree branch from my yard that I cut. So that's what we're going to use for these. I'm just going to use a little bit of some Type Bond Quick and Thick to help stick them in there, and there we go. That's what they look like. I'll give it a thumbs up. I think that they look so precious. Here I have a scrap piece of 2x4, and some rice paper that I printed out. This free printable off of Canva. I believe I got that in Canva. And I'm going to take some vintage linen, and I'm going to use this sponge applicator brush and just give this one thin coat. I don't even care if I'm getting great coverage or not. Those two little pieces of wood were some of those little pieces of wood from, what are those things called? Help me out here. They're slices, wood slices from Dollar Tree. They come in a little package of several in a package. I've had those in my stash for a while. I'm just going to dry this up with my heat gun, and then I'm taking DIY wax, dark wax, with a chippy brush. And I don't want a lot on the front where I'm going to put my image, but I want it to be more around the edges. I don't want this to look too clean. We're going for that rustic look. And then I'm going to put it a little bit more everywhere else. And then I'm going to let it dry pretty good. Sit and dry for a little while. And then I'm going to take a soft old t-shirt and buff it out. Now for the graphic, I'm going to take a paintbrush and some water. And this rice paper is a little bit more difficult to rip than, say, tissue paper or a napkin. So, but it's still easy. So I'm going to take that paintbrush and put some water on it. And it has these amazing fibers in here that make it look really rough on the edges. And I love it. So I'm just pulling that off so I can get the edge where I want it. And then I do that on the top too. So I lay it down and figure out where I want that. And I just fold it where I want it. And then I wet the crease. And then I can get that good and wet. Then I can just pinch and pull it where I want that to be. And then there it is. And it's got a ragged edge, which I love. Now I'm going to give this a good even coat of Mod Podge. Now I put my Mod Podge in that little squirt bottle because I've told you guys many times that I bought in 2018, I bought a gallon of Mod Podge and I'm still using that gallon. It has lasted me and lasted me. So I've got it in this little squirt bottle. Now that Mod Podge is completely dry. And I put my image on there, little piece of parchment paper, and my iron. You can use any iron as long as you don't use steam, and reactivate that glue. And this looks like it was made into the wood. It is perfection. It is awesome. So, and I'll kind of like loosening up those edges so they stay looking a little bit frayed. And I think this turned out so cute. Now I'm going to take this red kind of ticking ribbon. I got it Hobby Lobby on when they had their ribbon on half price. And I knew this would be great for Christmas. So I'm going to put it around the edge. I'm going to just put a little glue on the bottom there. And then I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to use my little silicone spatula so I don't burn my fingertips. And just wrap it around there. Put a little more glue on the bottom. Press it in and cut it off. It's so funny to me that I use my pointer finger. I have it poking out a lot. I notice other crafters do the same thing. I don't know. When you craft, do you do that? Like, I've noticed other crafters that I watch do the same thing. You'll have to watch me now. Now you'll be watching me see if I do it. But I do. Now I've got these on Shein as well. And they're little star beads. I thought they were really cute. They're this kind of weird, I don't know what they are. They're not wood. And they're not plastic. Maybe they are plastic. I don't know what they are. But anyway, they painted up just fine. So whatever they are, they're good. So I watered down some weathered wood and some marquee by DIY, and I'm just going to wet them and then kind of dry it off a little bit. In hindsight, I probably wish I would have just dry brushed it on there, but it turns out great. Either way. So I did 3 red and 3 brown, I believe. So I'm just showing you that I just painted on there. The sides, the paint didn't take as well on the sides as it did the tops, but it's okay. It's still, you don't see the sides as much as you see the top anyway. So it turns out really cute. So I was trying to decide where I was going to put these. I did string them up. I'm not sure what I show you first. I put some tape on the end of some twine. Yes, and made kind of like a needle so I could string them up. So I did them every other one, did a little pattern, and thought that I was going to put them on the end instead of ribbon on the other end. That's why I don't have ribbon on the other end of that little piece of wood right now. I thought that I was going to put those like that. See, I almost did. And then I thought, oh, let's see if it looks cute as a garland around the top or if it looks better like that. I was really debating. And so in the end, I decided to put them up at the top like a garland. So I just ran the string under those ribbons and around the back and put a little hot glue here and there to hold it. Got it like I liked it. I really wanted it to kind of swag down a little bit. And then so this sort of, in my mind, represented the stars on top of the trees. And then I'm going to use those little wood slices. They're really thick wood slices, but anyway, I do not know why I tied this on the back. Don't ask me why I do the things I do sometimes. I think I was thinking I needed a hanger, and that wouldn't really act as a hanger anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I glued it down back on the back side. I don't know. You know, who knows? And then I end up cutting it off anyway. It's not a hanger. It's going to be a sitter. It's going to have legs on it. So I don't even know what I was thinking. I wasn't even crafting late at night this day, so I can't even use that as an excuse. This was on my day off on a Wednesday afternoon, and I did have a migraine that day. But anyway, it's okay. So now we're going to take those little, I'm going to call them little log slices, and use a little bit of our Titebond and a little bit of hot glue and put them, they're not the same size around, but they're the same height. And so I didn't mind that look at all. It helps with the rustic look. And I thought that it made it look like they were the legs or the trunks of the trees. So let me know what you think about this one. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope that you enjoyed it, and remember to be still and know that He is God.